You hit me up just like you never left. Now it's 3 weeks late, but the time is still fresh. You asking me what's up like we just talked last night. Then you vanish real quick and I don't even get the type. 1 minute you're here, then the next you're off the map, leaving me on red, then you try to double back. You coming in hot, then you turn real cold. You just like a story that never gets cold. You pop up just enough to mess up my head, sending me a hand at 2 a.m. and then you're off to bed. Every time I think that you finally moved on, you back in my DMs acting like nothing's wrong. There's a ghost in my DMs, what am I gonna do? I try to move on, but something pulls me back to you. You a ghost in my DMs, you always disappear. Then you slide right back, the whole thing is so weird. Then you drop a heart emoji, then you fade to black, and you're leaving me wondering if you'll ever text me back. You a ghost in my DMs, playing hide and seek. You say that we love each other, but we barely speak. Send a pic, no words, no clues, and turn around and act brand new. No more questions, then you send replies. When you finally hit me up, it's a big surprise. I try to ignore, but it never holds. I find an excuse when that screen light's gold. I know your tricks and I know your games, and I still fall back, and it's always the same. Sing your name pop, but the words never came. Feels too crowded, but the love ain't the same. The blue light shadows on a midnight screen. You a ghost in my DMs and you live in my dreams. Voices with no face, vanish with no trace. Every line feels colder, now it's time to replace. There's a ghost in my DMs, what am I gonna do? I try to move on, but something pulls me back to you. You a ghost in my DMs, you always disappear. Then you slide right back, the whole thing is so weird. You drop a heart emoji, and then you take the black, leaving me wondering if you're ever gonna text me back. You a ghost in my DMs, playing hide and seek. You say we love each other, but we rarely speak. Stars in the chat, memories on read. Don't talk now, but the silence still bleeds. Digital echoes, can't still the sound of a ghost in my inbox trying to spin me around. You there when I scroll, you there when I call. Present in the shadows with no life at all. To my phone screen colder than space, yeah, scrolling through my dreams like they all got erased. Yeah, I'm dropping my brightest, my swing, my best, but it sinks in the silence like I never get the guess. Yeah, no ticket jam, personal street to keep. No strangers typing words they're never gonna speak, but they're straight in the beat and it's slipping away like I feel like I never should have showed up today. Maybe it's magic or maybe it's math, yeah, maybe it's a ghost I forgot to follow back. I'm out here performing for a room full of air and the silence is so heavy it feels like no one cares. Still wondering who's holding me down, yeah, I'm still wondering who fucks with my sound. Still wondering who's gonna stick around, but I guess I'll never know till they put me in the ground. 0 likes, but I guess I'm still alive, still shouting in the dark just to fucking throw the vibe. If the world wanna watch, then I guess I'll improvise, and I'm dancing with the shadows and they're always on my side. 0 likes, but I'm still in the frame, yeah, you can lose it all, but you still got your name. Maybe it don't matter, but it makes it a waste of time, and it feels like the shit isn't really worth the dime. Yeah, I can't believe the number still doesn't wanna move. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if I got something to prove. Surfing the web for dopamine hit, but the silence keeps stacking up bit by bit. Getting 0 likes feels just like a disease. Who knew it was so easy to be a people please? Yeah, why does she post when the whole world can see? 0 likes means 0 love and everyone agrees. Maybe it's magic or maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, who even knows who will play this fucking song? There's a little freedom in letting it go. I just don't know why it took me so long. 0 likes, but I'm still alive, and I'm shouting in the dark just to fucking feel the vibe. If the world wanna watch, then I guess I'll improvise, cause I'm dancing in the shadow just like they're on my side. 0 likes, but I'm still in the frame, and I can change my play if I can't change the game. Maybe I'm just wired different, y'all just the same, and I got 0 likes, but I got 0 shame. I've seen trends burn bright and fade tonight. Whole stars disappeared and they're out of the light. I'm still here building with my bare hands while they chasing the next click, and I'm making my stand. I borrowed no shine, no viral cheat, just honest words laid over this fucking beat. And if nobody's clapping when the curtain drops, I'll still have my truth, cause that's all I fucking got. One day maybe I'll scroll back through and find a little gold buried in the fucking blue, but if they don't, then I'll be just fine, cause I'm dancing in the shadows this whole goddamn time. Cause the flames are whispering and it fades with the wind, but your name's something carried to the end. So I keep writing on the world walk past, but zero likes feelings like it still lasts. Yeah, zero likes, but I'm still alive, cause I'm shouting in the dark, just looking for the vibe. Let the world wanna watch, and I'll still improvise, cause I'm dancing in the shadows like they're on my side. Zero likes, but I'm still in the frame. Yeah, you can lose the crowd, but still keep it in. Yeah, maybe it don't. It's 1787 in Philadelphia. The air smells like sweat, ink, and revolution that hasn't quite cooled off yet. 55 men, lawyers, farmers, philosophers, aristocrats, war heroes, are crammed into a room trying to invent a brand new government out of thin air. They've already agreed they don't want a king. But now comes the $1 million question. So, how exactly do we pick a president? The founding fathers loved liberty, but they didn't fully trust people. They worried the public might be tricked by a smooth talker or swayed by mob emotion. Now remember, Twitter didn't exist just yet, but the mobs surely did. Direct election by the people? Too risky. Let Congress pick the president? Too political. Others warned. The executives the executive branch would become puppets to the legislators. Let the states choose. Then big states like Virginia would dominate, and small states might bail out of the union altogether. So they needed a compromise, something halfway between a national vote and a congressional appointment. Enter James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, two intellectual powerhouses. They and their colleagues cooked up a system that sounded clever, complicated, and very, very American. Let's have the people vote for electors, and these electors will vote for the president. In other words, the people choose representatives, and these representatives, the electoral college, are the people who actually cast the vote. Every state gets a number of electors equal to its members of Congress, balancing population, aka House seats, and equality among states, aka Senate seats. They wrote this into Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution, and the Electoral College was born, not as a university, but as a built in compromise machine, or an elusive, nonsensical, crazy tool for control. Now, each elector would vote for two people for president. The person with the most votes would become president, and the runner up would become vice president. Sounds simple? It wasn't. They assumed electors would be independent thinkers, wise elders who would pick the best leaders, like a council of political grown ups. But in 1787, they had no idea that political parties would soon exist and take over the system completely. Now imagine the scene in 1789, the first US presidential election. The ink on the Constitution is barely dry. The government is brand new and everyone's asking the same question. Who's going to run this whole thing? There was only one answer. George Washington. Unless you count the second answer that was more popular, James Madison. But that's not a part of the story. Uh, Washington was the country's war hero, the general who had beaten the British and then walked away from the power when he could have crowned himself king. He was like the national dad, calm, noble, and allergic to the bullshit. Pardon my French. When the first electors gathered and they had an easy job,
There were no political parties yet, no TV ads, no debates, just Washington's universal respect. So when the votes were counted in 1789, all 69 electors from the 10 states that participated unanimously chose George Washington as the first president of the United States. John Adams came in second and became the first vice president. It remains the only unanimous presidential election in U.S. history. Fun fact, that was because it was a 100% rigged election. But we don't talk about that part. I want to go on a tangent and explain how that happened, but basically because when the electors chose, they didn't pick a number one and number two. They just picked two candidates. Now, I explain all this stuff. That was just a little. What's up, Cake Mix? And salute to you, Dub. Welcome in, guys. I just had to. I wanted to immediately cover that because that was the concept of electors being people was barely introduced to me about a week ago. I had no idea that the electoral college was people. I thought that they were uh, a tallying system. I had no idea that you're voting for people to go vote for their party. Like, it's just it's a really complex system for very not complex nepotism, if you ask me. Now, I will keep going a little bit, and then if you guys have anything to add, Cake Mix says 250 years is coming up next year in Philadelphia. They're fixing everything. 250 years. What would that uh the bidecennial the bidecennial. Uh, I think that's what that is. I think that kind of by 25. Yeah, no. The by. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, now, why did the electoral college matter? Well, the system gave the new government a sense of order with no messy national vote, a balance between big and small states, and a smooth way to crown a leader everyone trusted. Now, if you ask me, and I'm not going to go too far into the conspiratorial, but it gave a firm pimp hand to the people in charge because what you can't do is you can't control 5 million, 8 million, 20 million, 30 million, 100 million people and what they're going to choose. But what you can do is control the people that represent those people, which is basically the reason for politics, is to concentrate the control up to the nearest authority, nearest to whatever powers that exist out there in the world. Now, it has also showed that the founders' original hope that the electoral college would be a filter, a layer of reason between the people's passion and the final decision. Of course, by the next few elections, political parties formed, electors became party loyalists, and the system stopped being that lofty ideal. But in 1789, it worked exactly as intended, elevating the one man no one could argue it. Now, you see, the thing about it is now is that when what people in the and I just read this today, that the people in the Electoral College are kind of sworn. Okay, right on, Cake Mix. Have a good day, bro. Salute. That they're kind of sworn to vote for their party. Now, I know this stuff might be boring to some of you guys, man, and some of you guys might be interested in learning. I find more and more the some of the things that Restless says about the panelverse are revealing themselves to be true to me about how sometimes uh, people are really only interested in the nonsense. But I hope not. And I hope that isn't the case, man. And that some people just want to learn and be interested in interesting stuff. Now, let's talk about something else. That was just a fun fact for you guys to start off the live stream is that the Electoral College is actually people that are elected. So you think that your congressman and that your senators represent you. Well, when it comes to voting, it is a secret person that you'd be very hard pressed to find out what their name is that exists in some far off place. And no matter what you voted or no matter what you said, if you're from a certain place, that person's going to vote for you. Now, that was brand new news to me. I never understood the electoral college. Like I said, I thought it was a tallying system. I had no idea that it was the actual, that these were actual people. But just a little something if you didn't know. If you don't know, now you know, sucker. But if you did know, then you're a smarter man than me. Now, moving right along. I just want what we're gonna do is I'm gonna touch on a few different topics, give a little bit of insight, give my opinion, and then we will get to the main event, which is going to be uh, recapping and to whatever degree possible discussing the David spelled D4VD and Celeste Rivas Hernandez case. Now, avoidance, guys. I want to talk about avoidance. Now, I've had a lot of people tell me that I have avoidance issues, but I honestly don't know that if I feel that way. But what I do feel like is that I have trust issues, maybe, and I don't trust very many people. But let me see. I had brought up some notes that I wanted to cover about this. Oh well, Oh, and another thing. I'm not a political channel, guys. I am not a political channel. I am just interested in information. I love information, and I'm just giving you guys a little bit of information that I ran across. I figured that it's always a good time to learn something, you know. And I didn't see anybody else live streaming. I don't know why people don't come and hang out, but uh, my numbers are stuck where they're at, and nobody seems to be here. But I'm not like I don't know why it's still early. I don't know where Kev is at. What do you call it? Maybe I'm already shadow banned and I haven't even gotten off the ground yet. But we shall see about that. Okay. Now I've been trying to psychoanalyze the panelverse. I have to admit that, like before I go on, like talking about the avoidance thing, because I don't really I have a ton that I want to talk about with that. But it's a very, very difficult thing to understand because there's so many mixed motivations. And some people really are happy with just being perceived as intelligent. like that is enough to them. It doesn't matter if you try to test. They would actually probably rather you not try to test that intelligence, as long as you give them a vague nod to the fact that they are intelligent. Then they're. I mean, that's amazing stuff to them. But it's weird, and I don't in my life. What there's a few practices that because when I was young, man, I took all the extra classes that I could, and I got a lot of life uh, like lessons from some of them. And a couple of the rules that I follow is I don't ever speak on what most people do. Like to me, that is a utterly ridiculous notion. Both to presume that you know what quote unquote most people say or do is impossible. And number two, people usually continue that statement with gossip. When they say most people, this, and that, and then they usually just say something that's arbitrary and ridiculous. But so I just want to be clear that when I say that term, I'm talking about statistically from my observations and mostly in the Panaverse. So like when I say most people, if in the for the sake of this discussion or this uh, part of what I'm talking about the Panaverse. Now, a lot of people in the Panaverse are lonely, lonely, emotionally starved. Um, the way I look at it is, if let's say that we have a digital existence and we have a physical existence. Well, if you go to all the other communities for the most part throughout YouTube, you can look at them like neighborhoods, and some security in neighborhoods is higher than others. Some of the houses in some neighborhoods are fancier than others. You know, some communities you can go to, and everybody has a successful channel, and everybody has this, and that. I mean, y'all get the idea of what I'm saying. Well, uh, here in the so-called or quote unquote panelverse, there's a lot of digitally homeless people, a lot of digital hobos that have nobody that's willing to co-sign what they're talking about. They have nobody that is willing to hear them out, even. And they don't have anywhere to live digitally. You know what I mean? And of course, that's all hyperbolic, but that's just the way that I look at it. That's the way that my brain has classified it. There are some digital hobos out here, man. And what do I look like letting a digital hobo get me in a fight for uh rent or my place to stay or something? That'd be crazy, right? So like that's why I kind of look at the panelverse, man. Is if I don't and I've said this a lot, but I have kind of been like people have gotten upset by it. But to me, the bottom line, man, is that if I don't respect your intelligence, then I don't have any reason to listen to you. And people will say, "Well, you gotta listen to everybody. You gotta listen to everybody." Well, my rebuttal to that is, my bar for respect isn't high, like socially. So, like, it's very easily to have me respect your intelligence. All you have to do is just don't say things that aren't true, and don't do any kind of like negative, rude stuff socially. And I'll have all the respect in the world for you. But if you can't even manage that, and you're already saying like sensational, crazy stuff, or like you're already saying untrue stuff, then of course I'm not going to start from a place of respect, you know. And like it's the Panelverse specifically, man. The Panelverse specifically, like I said, it is the place where the digital hobos have made their camp, bro. Like, if we're not careful, man, and I'm not a part of the Panelverse, salute to God for that because I'm part of the Blizzyverse. That's where all of the people that I know used to come hang out, but like I stopped doing all that stuff too. But what do you call it? They're trying to turn the Panelverse into digital Kensington. They're trying to turn the Panelverse into a digital tent city. Yep, yep. So like, don't be, and I'm just saying this for anybody that hears this, man. Like, don't be afraid to call this shit out and say, "Hey, bro, like, I will not be a part of your digital tomfoolery and hobo bullshit." Because if you're not careful, it's just like life, bro. It's just like life. I tell you what, man. Go drive down to your local downtown, wherever that may be, wherever you may live, bro, and pick up a homeless person. Pick up a homeless person and say, "Hey, homeless guy, you're coming to my house. I'm gonna feed you and chill, whatever. Uh, you can come and shadow me for a week." I tell you what, bro, you might help that homeless person, and God bless you for that if that's the case. If you do, but all the people that are already in your life that have respect for you are gonna start looking at you like you're that cut from that same cloth. Now, I'm not saying that I support that. I'm not saying I condone that. I'm not saying I agree with that. But I'm saying that it's very obvious to me, at least, that that's what's gonna happen after a bit. Is that people are going to not just say, "Hey, there's that homeless guy," but they're going to say, "Hey, there are those homeless guys." Well, it isn't any different in the panelverse, bro. Allowing a digital hobo to invade your mind, your space, your groups, your whatever can have that same effect. And people start saying, "Well, hey, that's not just one digital hobo, that's two digital hobos." And next thing you know, bro, you're trying to catch a digital train to go buy some digital crack rocks. I don't know. But what I do know is there's nothing wrong with being vigilant. There's nothing wrong with being strict. There's nothing wrong with being an utter a hole about maintaining your boundaries. And your boundaries don't only have to do with how you're affected emotionally. Your boundaries can exist in many aspects of your life. They do exist in many aspects of your life. You don't let people just talk to you crazy like you don't let people just when they hand you something just throw it at you. You don't let like all of these things are the same thing, man. We should not let so much of this stuff fly in the panelverse that does. And to be honest, everybody has their own reasons for doing what they do. You want to know why I don't claim the panelverse? Is because nobody has any kind of respect for one another. And I don't mean this in the like utmost respect. I mean even common basic respect. And I know, man, I know, bro, I know every fucking body's gonna say it. Especially wrestler is I don't know you respect. Well, bro, that's all good and well. That's all good and well. And you're free to feel like that. You may not but life is all around easier and brighter and sunnier if you just start from a place of respect. Like for me, the way that I move is it's respect out the gate, and disrespect is earned. And once it's disrespect, then that's just what it is. But I mean, respect is not like a difficult thing to give, you know. And there's in the panel verse, how do I put this? There is so much accidental, perhaps, or maybe not accidental, but there is so much mis and disinformation that there's just a bunch of stupid people in the panelverse, to be honest. And I'm not saying that everybody is, because there's some damn smart people in there too, man. Salute to Powder Dusty, salute to Hornet, salute to Rude Butt Crab, salute to NPC and Kev and Wrestler and all that. But like, there are some people that are just that have watered down their ability to, in all honesty. And it's the same thing like anything, man. They say like too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. It's the same thing, bro. Like you get too much red pill talking points shoved in your head, bro. You're going to eventually start being detrimental to your own self. If you get too many of any of these like crazy ideas that people kick around in the panelverse, and because everything is a battle of wits and information, everybody is constantly in a fucking battle to outwit you, to look superior and to look more intellectually refined and to look like it's crazy. It's crazy because we don't even realize that we're in a constant battle with each other just simply due to the nature of the way that we produce our content. And like I said, or I didn't say, but I should say, I'm not talking smack, man. I'm just giving my observations of why I'm not interested in being a part of them groups. And I never thought that I would even go back into that space at all. But salute to Kev, he's made me feel extremely comfortable with hanging out, and I feel like I am kind of drifting back into like them groups of people, which I'm not like I always let life go where it's gonna go, but because of like things like Easy's verbal debate, things like Glenn Lawrence and his red, and there's a ton of them. Glenn Lawrence is just one of many. Oh, what's up, Gas Mask? Salute, my G, and welcome in. Hope you're having a great day. If you have any kind of thoughts, you know what, bro? I'm not a panel show. I don't do panels, but a panel could definitely be interesting on this panelverse discussion. If you want to come up, bro, you're more than welcome to. Anybody else that comes, let me drop the link. I'm just rambling off my thoughts, bro, about the panelverse, because like that. And the thing is, bro, I'm not a hater. I am not a hater, yo. I will never shit in somebody's cereal because I don't like my oatmeal. I mean, I will always try to support the next guy and give props up to like all the events that the panelverse does. Like I support all that shit. I think it's cool. But hang on, let me grab the link. But I really do try to like steer clear of engaging too much with the actual panelverse. And I've had some good looks at some cool places, man. Like I like to go to Flow States and hang out there sometimes. Even Sarah the Tomato, like I like to go over there and hang out sometimes. But the the vibe of the content here is purely competitive. But it's not what's crazy is it's not just competitive intellectually. It's not just competitive like like basic competition. It's basically a competition of what you can appear to be. Because if you pay attention, almost everybody that I've seen in the panelverse starts off as one thing and with varying degrees, with varying um like degrees of negativity and positivity. Like I've seen some people end up being nicer than they appear to be. Seen some people being mean or whatever, meaner. But like everybody in the panelverse, for the most part that I can see, has after time has been revealed to be different than what they had originally represented themselves to be. And if you ask me, bro, it's a breeding ground for mental instability and mental health situations. Now, I don't have any kind of science that would back that up. I don't have any reason to even say that, except for the fact that I see anxiety everywhere in the pentaverse. I see other mental health situations going on that I don't have the authority or credentials to say anything about. But it makes you wonder, man, like at what point do we, and this is what I did, this is why my original exit from the panelverse was when I left Mel Pandora's group or whatever. I was uh just completely done with it, man. I was completely disgusted with it because I thought that it was different than it was, and I just walked away from it. So that has been a long time, but I respect some of the people that are panelverse, man. And what the thing too is that like we can't pick how we can't ever pick like how the negative ones affect the good ones, you know? Like that's the shitty part. And you're never gonna be able to see it in advance until like it's already done. But the point of that story is that there are digital homeless people, man. And think about what that means because you say, well, Blizzy, don't be silly. You can't be homeless digitally. Well, what does your home provide you? Your home provides you support, backup, a place to be comfortable and discuss topics or discuss ideas. All of these things exist in a digital form also, and are they present themselves, in my opinion, as your community. And I don't mean your sector, I mean your community. Like there are the sectors is bigger, the community is the people that come to your chats, the people that support you, the people that are worried about you if they don't see you and stuff like that. And that's your home. That's your home. The people that want to come and make sure that you like Dub and Cake Mix and is my community. So like, but there are people that aren't interested in cultivating that, and they're basically just kind of just like walking from community to community, trying to just tear shit down. And because of the nature of the beast that we wrangle here, which is debates and debate bro shit and all this ridiculous shit, because of the nature of how we engage through that discourse, we don't see it in front of our eyes when it is purely there to come for your house with a box of matches and a can full of gas, a can full of gas and a handful of matches, or however Eminem says it. But my point is, man, is that there are ways to push that stuff out, man. If you're not able to push it out of your community, you can always push it out of your personal life. And maybe one day we can. Maybe this is a big maybe, bro. I don't think it's possible, and I don't. Uh, Whatever. But maybe one day the panelverse will be a place where people are proud to be from. Maybe one day the panelverse will be a place that people care enough, excuse me, care enough about to take care of it, to care about how that name is represented. I doubt it. Shit, it's like Woodstock in the panelverse. Like people just piss on the ground and throw their cigarette butts at wherever. If they land in somebody's hair, who cares? They're just throwing their cigarette butts, their ashes everywhere, and pissing on the ground and spitting on the ground. And it's like, well, man, Why would I want to be a part of that? And I know, guys. I know. There's a little group of y'all that have been with me since the beginning. They're like, well, Blizzy, you engaged in that shit. I know, man. I know. But I also change. I also learn lessons, and I also grow. So, I mean, that's the only thing I can say to that. But okay, now that we got all that out of the way, is that all that? Uh, Let me make sure. I don't usually have so many topics that I want to discuss, but I wanted to just get on here and kind of just freestyle and get some of my thoughts off my chest because I don't know if I'm already being shadow banned. I've had a few people tell me that there are a couple of like things that have happened to give them the like idea that possibly I am. I don't know why, man. Let me make it, YouTube. Let me make it, bro. If you want me to do some foot stuff with Sab again, bro, then just say it. But just let me make it, man. Okay. Now this was another thing that I wanted to just a tiny portion of whatever. How many of you guys know who the great Sun Tzu is? How many of you guys know who Robert Greene is or Machiavelli? Now, if you don't, honestly, this is an honest to goodness statement from, in my opinion. If you don't know who those people are, you are at a decided disadvantage when engaging with the people who know who those guys are. Now, you're like, well, how is that possible? What does that even mean? Well, though these each one of these guys, uh, some more than others, have written profound paradigm shifting, basically manipulation manuals for power dynamics and navigating social constructs, basically. Not just navigating, but basically conquering. Now, do you guys ever hear like it's you'll hear it like everywhere in random times, but you'll hear somebody say, "Well, the 48 laws of power says dot dot dot." Well, that's one of the books I'm talking about. Robert Greene. Let me see it. I have it on here. Okay. Robert Greene is an American author best known for writing books about power, strategy, and human behavior. Born May 14th, 1959, from Los Angeles, California, graduated from the University of Wisconsin, Madison with a degree in classical studies, ancient history and literature. Before becoming a writer, he had over 80 different jobs, including construction worker, translator, screenwriter, magazine editor. All that time, he watched how people used power, manipulation, and ambition in real life. About the 48 Laws of Power. Published in 1998, this book became famous and controversial for explaining how people gain, use, and keep power in politics, business, and everyday life. Each law, quote unquote, is backed up with historical examples from rulers, general philosophers, and artists. Now, my that like I don't know what you guys think about that, but what I think about when I actually do like slow down and think about it is the fact that a ton of the people that consume books like the 48 Laws of Power are not even engaging in any kind of appropriate context in which to put this stuff into play. And a lot of them most likely put this stuff to play on your psyche, on your emotional state, on your guilt. And the perfect example of where that is most definitely happening is within the panelverse. You see, because the panelverse has sections, in my opinion. And I, again, like I said, I don't consider myself a part, and I say that because I actually extricated myself and went to produce content completely separate from the panelverse. So it's not like I'm just saying that to be catty because I got left off that list. I understood why they left me off the list because I don't engage in the panelverse, like I haven't in a long time. But the conversation is coming back up. I seen this list that Rude Butt Crab made and stuff like that. So I want to give my thoughts on it too. So here's some of my thoughts. Hang on, is the panelverse is so diverse that it has people that are highly skilled, point uh dismissing, optic shaping debate strategists. It pits these people against the very unassuming, very naive, very uh not prepared person that wants to just be a part of YouTube and happen to fall within the panelverse, whatever. Now, to me, that happens because there are places that are highly uh competitive, high energy, highly intelligent people on the panels like Easy's and Glenn and the tons of people that engage with because I just on Glenn's panel I've seen like tons of people that make content. I never seen them anywhere else, but they obviously are those type of content creators. But these people are like interested in power dynamics and understand how to debate and stuff like that. But then you have people like Mel Pandora and all of the people that originally like stepped into that for her. Now, not to dog Resto, man. Salute to Resto, man, because uh the dude tries, man, or did try. And I'm only just really talking about this stuff with Mel. But what Resto did was far more detrimental than I think anyone really understands when it's just purely when it comes to the vibe, I guess, or like the how would you say it, man? Because like I think that before Resto, it was kind of like a blank, open ended. Well, we don't know what we are. We could be anything. But Resto specifically got the peaceful group of just shit shooters and was setting up debates with skilled debate strategists on the other end. And it just, if you ask me, just purely based on what I experienced when I was there at Mel's and stuff like that, like that didn't contribute to a happy panelverse. But I mean, I have faith that if anybody wanted to turn it around, man, that it wouldn't take a lot of work. I don't see anybody. Maybe Kev and Resto. I mean, if Resto is that's what he's trying to do, I don't know what he's trying to do. Probably still some stuff from Target, if you ask me. Now I'm just playing, but what do you call it? Izzy probably will. And for anybody that wonders why I take shots at Izzy, it's because she took shots at me about the B plug incident. But I digress on that. But regardless, man, I'll just giving my perspective on the Panaverse is sick, bro. And when I say sick, I don't mean like demented or gross. I mean it's like on life support. Um, and it's decision time for the people that do have authority enough to give it medicine. Now, does anybody want to? Is the question. Is anybody going to? Is anybody going to take the initiative and put a little bit of medicine in that IV? I don't know. But I tell you this much is that the groups that have grouped themselves out in the panelverse are so at odds with one another intellectually, socially, morally, all that, that there could never be a peaceful existence. And that's like Mel Pandora was never going to peacefully exist with Andrew, whatever that fool's name is. Oh, Steinberg or something. I don't know what his name is, bro. I was just making that up. Andrew Wilson. Um, Yeah, Mel Pandora and Andrew Wilson's communities were never going to peacefully exist. And this is just my opinion, is that Mel Pandora's community does not deserve to be uh does not deserve to be torn down just because a lot of them are lovers and not fighters. To put it as like plainly and as not controversial as I can. Because that's what the way that a lot of people act is, oh well, they're bitches, or oh well, they just are weak, or oh they could defend themselves but they don't. But it's like, bro, like that's where the hippies were hanging out and stuff. Like a lot of those people are hippies, pacifists that don't even like to engage, don't even like to be in the mix with the BS. But then you get like all the people that get on Andrew Will, bro. I used to go to that channel like when I would see it on my algorithm, and like they let you, bro. I swear, bro, we would flame people to the ground. Like I remember one time, uh, I and I shouldn't have done this, man, because it's bad juju. But like we're making fun of this girl, and she got an attitude, and I started calling her a little ugly, and bro, there was like so many people calling this chick Lil Ugly, and it was like, dang, dude. Like by the time it was all done, I was like, man, like that's gotta have an effect on people. But it's what we do over and over and over, and nobody has any guilt, and nobody has any kind of remorse, and nobody. That's the reason why I just don't engage with people, bro. Because it's like, well, I do, and I may not feel it at that moment. Like I may not feel bad at that moment. Shit, if you want the smoke, come get it. But afterwards, when you have to look at the mess that was made, man, I usually feel bad. And I usually wish that I had practiced better judgment and stuff. And part of my better judgment has been to just steer clear. And it's actually benefited me a lot, man. My other channel is doing great. Um, this channel's already doing good. Kev is allowing me to engage with his community, and shout out to all those people. Wrestler is I think he's like revamping his channel. Hopefully when that gets all back up and running, we'll be able to help out over there. and help him to accomplish whatever he's trying to accomplish. But other than that, man, about the Panelverse being sick, man, the net, the you can't have a portion of a community unprotected. Is basically what I mean, and it still be a safe community. And when I say safe, I'm not talking about a safe space. I'm talking about the normal level of safety that every person deserves when engaging with other people. You know what I mean? But I digress on all of that because it's not my place to say. I tell you this much is, and I say it right here and now, man, that even as a person that has not considered themselves a part of this panelverse, I wouldn't mind being a part of it or whatever. Like, I wouldn't mind uh, putting in any help that anybody would need to attempt to breathe life back into it. Shoot, if there's anybody that is trying to do things, I know NPC is, and I know that Kev probably is bound to end up being one of the people doing that, man. I'm down to help. I don't have I don't have any kind of like disdain or anything for the panelverse or anybody in it, but it's not happening yet, man, and it's sick, and it will surely be withered and gone soon. But with that out of the way, David D4VD. What kind of person would allow their name to be made and have VD in it is a special kind of dummy, but that's his life to live. Let me pull up the video. Okay, I've never tried to share the screen with only one monitor, but it's obviously not very easy. Um, as I'm finding out. No. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm not able to share screen without having a second monitor. And I just I like I said I'm moving, so all I have is my laptop here. But I'm working on it. But yeah, to me, there's so much, man. I have so many things that I want to say, like about this whole panel verse debate and or like panel verse discussion, and not bad things, not things to denigrate anybody or talk smack, but just observations that I've made, man. Like the fact that what I see repeatedly is people that have all the experience that one could ask for with dealing with these people will link up with somebody that has no experience dealing with these people. They'll swim together all the way out to the middle of the ocean, and the experienced person will just leave the other person. And it's like, well, Cal, I get it, man. You're like, y'all might have fallen out, y'all might not be cool, but like, uh, there's some brutal, insane stuff that exists on in these streets, man. Like, shout out to all the stalkers and bro, I've had people like show up at my house, man. Stalkers, not just like a random person or somebody that I was picking a fight with or something, but like stalkers and stuff. Craziness. But it looks like I'm gonna have to address this tech issue, guys, and I will try to go back. I'll try to come back up live. It doesn't look like anybody's watching, so maybe somebody else is live right now, man. I hope they are. But if not, those are my thoughts on the Panelverse and the Electoral College and whatever else we talked about. But thank you guys for watching. I will be back soon. I just hope that you guys have a wonderful, beautiful night, man. Take care. Remember, there's your side, there's her side, and there's the blind side. Blind side news. Y'all be good. I'm out here. Peace.